Yamazaki 25, Hakushu 25, Hibiki 30. Suntory's iconic trinity, head to head to head.
The excitement is pretty palpable, I think, right? So here I am at the Hakushu distillery, my favorite distillery on earth, and in front of me, and I still can't believe it, is a half shot under Japanese standards, 15 ml of Yamazaki 25, Hakushu 25, and Hibiki 30. So without further ado, let's dive into the Yamazaki 25 and check out the color. Ooh, that is a beautiful rose gold, very, very inviting on the nose. Ooh. That is lovely. The first thing that hits me about the nose is that it is very different from the old Yamazaki 25, where that was 100% sherry cask. Now we've got that vatting of American white oak, Spanish oak, and also Mizunara, Japanese oak. So the nose is much more balanced. You're still getting some of those tannins from the sherry and that spice, but also now mixed in with the spice from the Mizunara and tempered with a little bit of sweetness from the ex-bourbon American white oak casks. On the nose, I get notes of persimmon, white pepper, and a bit of vanilla as well. Kanpai. Okay, that is very, very nice. That sweet, sour, spicy sankaku triangle that you get with the Yamazaki profile is absolutely there. The Mizunara is very much coming through. I know that was an important element in the reformulation of the Yamazaki 25. Not as much sweetness as you would have expected, given that some ex-bourbon barrels have been part of this vatting. The palate really is spicy. Sandalwood there, ginger, a little bit of star anise as well. There's a big disconnect here between the nose and the palate. So the nose leads you to think that it is going to be sweeter, and actually the palate itself is a lot stronger, a lot punchier than the nose would suggest. And quite moreish. So you do keep wanting to come back for it, even though it's actually not the most easy drinking dram. Surprisingly, the finish is medium, and considering the strength of that palate, you would have expected it to be much, much longer, but it's kind of, overall, you can see what they were going for here. A lot of strength of character, a lot of flavor, but quite a clean, self-contained experience. I'm going to save a little bit to come back to. So overall, really fantastic. Not my favorite of the Yamazaki range. I still think the 18 takes that, but pretty good. Next up, the Hakushu 25. The color here is a little bit lighter than the Yamazaki 25, more of a kind of champagne gold. Very in keeping actually with the color profile of the Hakushu core range. On the nose. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, 4 oohs, wow. Oh my goodness. Certainly on the nose, this may be the most Hakushu-y Hakushu I've tried since I tried the Hakushu 30, the Kiyosato 30th anniversary bottling at Moegi Nomura at Bar Perch. Everything that you expect from the Hakushu distillery is there, this pine. Oh, so good. Truly that forest aroma, I guess if they've had 25 years, it's going to be the most foresty of all the Hakushus. A little bit of vanilla there. They do like adding a bit of ex-bourbon cask liquid into these Hakushus. There's some wonderful mint there as well. This is really, really fabulous. Kanpai. All the things I love about Hakushu whiskey are there. That pine, the forest profile, but also a lot of maltiness as well. And, you know, some oak, some wood, but I would say the correct amount. There's a real danger with some of these longer dated whiskies of them being over oaked. That was a big complaint what people had of the Yamazaki 25, the old version, the 100% sherry version, especially, you know, the later numbered bottles, that they were over oaked. But I think this is really great. Again, quite spicy too. You do find that amongst the longer aged Suntories. The finish is medium long to long, longer than the Yamazaki 25. So get this beautiful coating, lovely mouthfeel. This is really a fantastic dram. People always think of the Hakushu as being a peated whiskey. It's not peated like a Ardbeg or a Laphroaig, you know, Islay whiskey, but it is there, and that peat, you are getting that lovely smoke and those charring flavors, and they are definitely helping to prolong the palate. Yeah, what can I say? Is this the best Hakushu out of the core range? We all know how much I love Hakushu. This may be the best Hakushu in the Hakushu core range. It's a real shame that it is almost always completely inaccessible to anybody on anything resembling a reasonable budget. So those are the two Suntory 25-year core range single malts. Now for the Hibiki 30, Suntory's flagship blend. The Hibiki 30 is so special, Suntory even give it its own bottle shape. It's 30-sided bottle as opposed to the 24 sides of the other Hibikis, representing both the 24 hours of the day, but also the 24 seki, the micro seasons in the Japanese calendar. The color is more similar to the Yamazaki 25, kind of a rose gold on the nose. Ooh. Not the 4 oohs that I gave the Hakushu 25, but this is pretty, wow, this is very Hibiki, meaning that it is truly balanced. Where the Yamazaki 25 gave us those sweet, sour, spicy notes, emblematic of that core range, and where the Hakushu gave us those forest notes, emblematic of that core range, the Hibiki 30, if it's possible to describe a nose as smooth, I think this is it, while at the same time retaining a lot of flavor and a lot of complexity. It's definitely the sweetest of these drams. You can see the different cask influences as well, but very tempered down by the grain whiskey from Cheetah. Kanpai. Wow. I can see immediately why it's the Hibiki 21, which is the most awarded Japanese whiskey of all time, and not this. And I don't mean that in a bad way. This is really a lovely dram. It is very Hibiki. I mean, if you think back to Kezo Saji's philosophy back in 1989 when he came up with, you know, the first Hibiki product, this very much represents the Hibiki brand. It is a wonderful symphony of flavor. You've got sweetness and a bit of spice and some real depth of flavor, but also supreme drinkability. One thing I really love about this on the palate is this thickness, kind of like jam, strawberry, raspberry, marmalade. The finish is beautiful and long and lingering and sweet and wonderful. That long dated Cheetah grain really shining through. You're getting some beautiful winter spice, some cinnamon, like a sweet mulled wine. Of all of them, this is the one I keep coming back to. It has the most Moorishness of all three. It's absolutely fantastic. So, head to head to head, This is a really tough one. You know, it's funny because there isn't one that stands out, even with my bias for Hakushu whiskey. The nose on the Yamazaki 25 is wonderful. The palate of the Hakushu 25 stands out across all three of these, but the finish of the Hibiki 30 is so wonderful. I mean, that's why this is the holy trinity of Japanese whiskey. I'm gonna have to call it a draw. It really is very difficult to pick one standout, and they're not necessarily the best expressions of the core range. While for me, the Hakushu 25 is, I think, the ultimate Hakushu, the Yamazaki 18 is the true expression of Yamazaki, and the Hibiki 21 for the Hibiki range. So what these are is something very special. As you can see, I've left a little bit in each glass, so I'm just going to stay here enjoying these fantastic drams at the Hakushu distillery for a little longer. Thank you for joining me for the flight of Japanese whiskey. Until next time, Kanpai.